Hey everybody, my name is Jonathan from Trendy Trading. Tonight I'm going to show you one of my indicators called the pre-market zone. We call it the PMZ for short. And I want to show you how it works. It's very straightforward. I think it's probably one of the best indicators out there for scalp trading, intraday trading. I also use it for swing trading, meaning I use the levels once I've already determined I want something on a longer term time frame. I'm going to use this PMZ to help me get into the stock or the options or the futures or whatever it is that I'm trading. Now, the pre-market zone, the way that I developed it is I basically took a time frame from the pre-market action. And I found that within that pre-market action, regardless of the volume, we have some structure that's built. And Thinkorswim actually has a really good data that's being pushed pre-market that I'm able to find some structure off the pre-market action. Now, I can tell you I've been using this for many, many years. All right. And the proof is right here. It's proof of concept. I'm going to show you how I trade it, and it might help you with some of the stuff you do. If you're more interested in the indicator itself, you can find it on my website at trendytrading.co. We are not at the moment selling Thinkorswim indicators, but we will be in the next week or so. So please stay tuned. We do, however, we do offer them on TradingView. Not only can you buy our indicators outright, you can also rent them, which is really neat. So we have both of those options, but let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to show you this trade right here, and I've taken many trades out of the PMZ, but it's been a long time since I actually did some sort of video to kind of give you an intro and hear me and you could see me and I talk about what was going through my mind when I took the trade, okay? So I will tell you Friday was coming to the end of my vacation, but just like a great trader, it's hard to walk away sometimes. I like to be in tune with the market, and because of that, I'm able to come in and take some trades. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn off because it's going to get really bright in my office here. I want to turn off my camera. So if you guys would just give me 1 second right there. So we're going to turn off the camera. And the reason why we're going to do that, we're going to go to a whiteboard. And I just want you to understand. So you have some pre-market action. Let's just say these are candles, and they're doing their thing. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, there's not a lot of volume there. What happens on the screen is my pre-market zone will automatically populate right as the market's opening. Okay. And let's just say that it could look like something like this. All right. Let's say that this stock X, Y, and Z is trading at about $100. All right. Let's say that the top of this line right here is going to be $100.20. Okay. And the bottom of this PMZ is going to be, let's just say in this particular case, that it is $99.80. Okay. So we'll do this. So your risk is the subtraction between this number and here. Okay. So in this case, you're looking at 40 cents of risk. All right, so we know that we have 40 cents. And the reason why I developed this, one, I found out very quickly that these levels work very, very well. But the neat thing is, going back to like what you learned from Mark Douglas, is you want to predefine your risk before you take a trade. And me personally, and I'm sure you guys share the same emotion, is that when I understand what my risk is, I can take the trade. It's a lot easier for me, especially as I matured as a trader. In the beginning, I'm not going to lie, I would just take a trade and I would hope that I would make money. And if I didn't make money, I didn't really know where I wanted to get out and so forth. So again, this trade in particular lets you know exactly what I'm going to risk. All right. So obviously, if I'm going to trade stocks, then I know that I can just have a 40-cent stop. Okay, folks. So if I'm trading options, what's really neat is that if I'm trading a delta 50, and that means for every dollar that the underlying equity goes against me, I could lose 50 bucks, right? Or if it went for me in my favor, I could make 50 bucks. So if this were a dollar risk here, that means I could lose about $50 on each one of my contracts on options. So we can use this number here to understand how much we can lose not only in stocks, but also, okay, trading options, which is really, really useful when trading. Okay. Now, how do I trade this? It really is this straightforward. One, I want to pay attention to the trend. Okay. I want to know, like, hey, have we been down for 3 days? If we've come down for 3 days, we've started to base, then the idea here is that I want to take this trade immediately as it breaks through the zone. I already know where my stop is, so I'm going to place my stop here. I'm going to trade this to the upside, and that's the end of the story, folks. And then I have automated edges and targets and stuff that are on my screens, and that's part of my indicators and so forth. So I understand my risk, and then I'll have to go to the chart and I'll have some sort of, let's just say I'll have an automated line here and here. So I understand the risk, and then I know what my reward is going to be because I'm looking at these numbers up here. Okay. So if for some reason we break down, all right, let's just say that we push up here, I make my money to the upside. I had 40 cents of risk. Let's say I made $2 to the upside. That's great. We reject at one of my levels. What's neat about the PMZ is that it really does serve as a very big focal point or support system. When price is above it, you'll find that prices come back down to the PMZ and then they find support once again. Now, once price actually, and if it breaks down, then I then turn the trade around. My stop comes up here. It's still 40 cents risk, and I'm looking to short to my edges down below or my targets down below that I've already found. So you can see that overall, this is a really straightforward strategy. Although it seems very simple or simplistic in nature, it is coming from levels from the pre-market, and you have to understand where your targets are. Okay, so when I took this trade on Friday, I specifically took the trade here, okay, as it was coming into or over the PMZ. Okay, so this was like a set and forget trade, if you would. All right, now stops can be underneath the PMZ here. And again, I'm taking the trade because it's about to break over. So I went ahead and took the trade, and you can see it up here for 61 cents. And as soon as that price broke over, I went ahead and I took off. So I was finished for the day. I knew where I wanted price to stay above. And you can see here, price did dip down. This contract itself did lose some value, but once it started to go bid, you could see that the PMZ held. We stayed above the EMA clouds. We hit the automated level here, and that was a target. We got in the money. So again, we were buying the 301 and some change. You could see it here. It was a weird call, 301.67. We hit our target, which was really neat. And what was really neat is we had some members reach out and say, hey, John, did you realize that the contract itself or the call was the same number as your level? And I just knew it was meant to be. So I thought that was really neat. And again, if you look right there, you can see the same exact number happened to be our strike. But anyways, you can see we made 70 cents there. This was a bad fill. I was trying to get out at like $1.25, $1.30. That didn't happen, but it was okay. I wasn't mad about it. But that in itself is how I trade the PMZ. Now, there are many, many other instances or examples that I can show you. And what's really neat is in the morning. Okay, so in the morning when this pops up, it actually has a banner up here, and it will tell me what the number is on the upside. It tells me what the number is on the downside, and then right here in this box, it'll actually calculate and tell me how much I can risk. And then I have a calculator that's built in here that will go off of my net liquidity value and then give me how much money I can spend according to the risk that I set within my account. It's really, really neat. So basically, I could tell my account, hey, for 5% in this particular account, it's telling me I could spend $1,731. And when we open up in the morning, it'll do the calculation, tell me how many shares I can buy or how many Delta 30 options I can buy according to my PMZ indicator. All of that right there for that indicator, which is really, really cool. So again, I feel very comfortable taking this trade. Now, there's several names I haven't even looked at, but I want to do this right before I jump off just to see if we can go over here and see, how did the PMZ work with Apple? Here's an example. So, is this Friday? Yep, this was Friday. So we have specific strategies that we trade off of this, but you can see that once it breaks down, folks, this is where you go short. The stops are above. And you can see you start making money to the downside very quickly. So this is really attractive to people who are intraday trading, who are looking at scalping. All right. And I don't like to say scalp that much because a lot of times when we're trending in the market, this PMZ will make you so much money, all right, to the upside or downside that it can turn into a swing trade. So I like to say something like this is intraday until proven otherwise. Does that make sense? So intraday until proven otherwise. So, my expectations, we just make quick money, but if we get a big breakdown or a big breakout, we end up making enough money to be able to hold some runners overnight. So in this market, my biggest point here, folks, is you got to have something that you are willing to bet against, and that is, or with. And in this market, that's my PMZ. Now, we created this PMZ indicator over 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We've been using it ever since. It's a great tool. It doesn't matter what name I'm trading on and so forth. We are looking to trade the PMZ. Let me give you another example. Again, all this is impromptu. That's the way I like to do things. I found that I get less nervous when I do impromptu speeches and so forth. So, yeah, I don't study the stuff that I'm about to tell you. So, right here, as soon as we break out, what's really neat is that, see this trendy edge up here? Well, anytime we're under any of my levels, they are resistance until proven otherwise, okay? So, my example, what I was telling you earlier, is that this risk right here, let's just say that it was 20 cents this morning, okay? And my reward up here was only 20 cents, okay? So it's a 1-to-1, and that's not really what I'm looking for, folks. I'm looking for something more like this. See how when it breaks down, and once it really goes, it really starts paying. So you can see my first level was down here. And then as we keep falling, you just keep making money. And we have other strategies to trade this. And, for me, it would be like the first time you see an inside and up formation, I want to be getting out of a short. Anytime we break over the cloud, I want to be getting out of the short, those type of things. Okay, so a lot more to it, but as far as this strategy is concerned, I'm basically just looking to trade over the PMZ. You can see in this case right here, this was actually a blueprint that I put together for my team several days ago that worked very, very well. You can see that price came into the PMZ, it broke out, it did not break below, and we hit T1, T2, and I can't remember if we hit T3 almost. We got very, very close to it, but either way, you can see great strategy, really simplistic, and once again, this is the go-to indicator for these conditions out here. All right. And if you have any questions, again, please reach out to me. Again, you can find them on trendytrading.co, or you could just reach out to me on Twitter. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have, or here on YouTube. And then you can also email me. You can find my emails there on my website. I really appreciate you guys. Please give me a like. Please subscribe, and I'll keep it coming just for you. Thank you. Bye bye.